Hey, folks. Hey, Anki. It's good to see you as always. I never have my mic on when I start. I always forget that part. Is it still no sound? Can you hear me now? Still no sound. Do I have sound now? Now? Okay. I always forget to turn the mic on. Hey, Richard Kerr. Nice to see you here. I'm not sure that I remember seeing you on a live stream yet. It's good to see you. Loud and clear. All right. I got a tad bit of reverb on my voice, which is good. We're doing a little Back to the Future here. In case you wondered. Cool. Hayes Anderson just made your first synth amplifier. Awesome. Oh my sign has run out again. Your top X. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Your first synth amplifier. So how does that work? Is it like did you just make it with feedback? Or is it like an oscillator that does it? Is it an oscillator? What is an amplifier? You didn't make it with a tube, I'm sure. That's kind of I don't know. Yeah. How'd you do that? Cool. You know, I wanted to I learned something funny. I've always kind of wondered about it and kind of suspected, but I know that I get stereo when I go straight into my Zoom Q8 camcorder with the XLRs, with the XLR TRS combos here. It actually, I can set the camera either to do 2 separate channels for it or to do a combined stereo, right? To have one be left and one be right. But on the Focusrite interfaces, like such, like this, like the 2i2, if you want to put something into here and have it be, oh, this is left and this is right, so it's stereo, and direct monitor that, it won't actually be stereo. It's 2 mono channels. In order to make it stereo, you're going to have to put it into 2 channels of your DAW or something like that, and pan them left and right. And yeah, but they don't do it automatically. So anything I do here, I'm gonna have to do straight out to my camera, or basically straight out from all of this. Instead of going the 2 channels into this, go the 2 channels into the camera, which I have been doing most of the time, but a lot of videos in the past have actually been done by going out from the Focusrite into my camera, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool," but I didn't realize back then that I wasn't getting stereo. So that's kinda interesting, huh? Okay, Hayes is using a special chip called the LM386 with a bunch of transistors inside. Right, transistors, duh. Okay, transistors, cool. Yeah. Yeah, there isn't a stereo mono button. I think there's some things that have that sort of functionality, but most interfaces actually don't, because they're just meant for just multiple channels. But then what made me think that it would be able to do that was that it's 2 channels, but it's just that it's just 2 channels. It's for like a mic and a guitar, for instance, for most cases. So they don't even think of it that way. It's not like a keyboard interface, you know, so they weren't thinking of that. Um, but anyway, so I mean, and see, for like keyboards and synths, that's why I got my line mixer, a stereo line mixer like this. It's exactly why I got this kind of mixer that is like unusual, um, compared to the type of mixers most people have, is because, you know, it's all each channel is a stereo, 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 stereo in, stereo in, stereo in, stereo in. There's no mono ins. Oh, except for there's one mic mono in that from the back, just for a talkover, and that's all it's meant for. So there's a secret ninth channel. Yeah, yeah, on a mixer. Yeah, and you put it through the mixer, and then have it. But the thing is, with the audio interface, you still can't go a mixer, pan it left and right, have anything panning left and right for any reason, and then go into the Focusrite. It'll still be mono mono. It'll be left right and left right. You have to do it in the computer. It has to be in the computer to get the interface to work. But I know what you're saying there, Richard. Is on a mixer you can totally do that. Ah, the Behringer HD404. Aha. Yeah. Yeah, see, Behringer does some good stuff. I was gonna get this Behringer, uh, what was it? Monitor controller. And it had a lot of ins and outs like that, and I was gonna maybe use that instead of my audio interface, because I was like, well, I'm not gonna use a computer anyway. But since then, I've realized that I am gonna use a computer. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, audio interfaces are stupid. Yeah, I'm going with a Tascam Model 24, which is also an audio interface, but that's not going to be my point to it. Um, yeah, can be used as standalone as a mixer. Yeah. Okay. So it is a mixer type of thing. That's an audio interface. Yeah. See, that's cool. The mixers that are audio interfaces and stuff like that. Yeah, totally. I'm gonna redo my. Man, this really does. This is called the Buddha board. You rock. And I actually got this for my daughter because it's just a perfect thing to paint with and not get paints everywhere for a 3-year-old, you know, and she can just do it over and over again, and we don't have to get more paper and more paper and more paper, you know. It's so good for the minimalist lifestyle as well. So I got them for Christmas gifts for everybody for Christmas, for all my extended family and stuff, because I thought they were just the coolest gift, and yeah, people agreed that I got them. Yeah. Yeah, as far as mixers go, I think the Tascam Model 24 is quite revolutionary. The Zoom, L12 and L20 are also really cool that way. But I can understand how, um, until something becomes a thing in tech, people in the general public isn't really gonna be able to pay attention to it, because they're all about doing things the way they've done them and trying to figure it out that way. And it's just a new, it's new things you can do. The best synth I've ever played on. I haven't played on many synths. I'm new to synths, actually. It's been about 2 years now, 2.5 years now. No, it's about 2 years. It's not even 2.5 years yet that I've been into synthesizers, and I have done all the research, and I watch everybody else's, videos all the time to see exactly how everything sounds, all the synths of the past and everything. I'm glad that YouTube is around for that reason. But the System One is quite underrated. I think that's the thing about it is, okay, so I'm just gonna go through what I have here so far, as far as what's good or what's best or what's better or what's not. The Mini Brute as a synthesizer, it does great things in great ways. Like, I like the UI, I like the setup, I like the things you can do with it. My daughter made this patch here. I haven't touched it, literally, and that's why all the faders for the sub-os and the saw and the square and the triangle are all up. And she realized to turn the noise down for the oscillator mix. But let's see, turn down this. Cool. What happened to my Mini Brute sounds? Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, it's down. It's something, but as a synthesizer, it's nothing like what this can do. This is more like what I would call the best synthesizer. And I really would. I'd call it possibly the best synthesizer ever. And that it's definitely the best synthesizer I've ever played on. Nothing that I have had my hands on comes close as a full synthesizer. Now, I have said, in a recent video, that this is the best synth ever, that you could build, but I'm actually gonna add on to it. But really, what it is, it's putting together your own. This is a synth, and this is a synth, and this is a synth, and that's effects, and then the mixer to put them all together, and really that's modular. So I think that's not really. It's a different thing because you can always improve on it, but something that's already made up. The System One, and here's why, is like the LFO section is just completely amazing. Sure, it doesn't have 2 LFOs, but so that's the one thing about it. Both oscillators you can do tons and tons with, and they're kind of like Plaits in that you have your 6 basic, you have your 3 basic waves, and then you have your supers you have the super saw, a super square, and a super triangle, right? And then you've got cross mod. You've got the modulation of each one of those waveforms is different with this color knob based on what waveform you're working with. And the 6 secret waveforms that you get to, that are just 6 more on the second page, are crazy ones. There's 2 types of FM ones, and then there's an ultra super mega saw, and there's a formant, vocal formant sort of one. And each one of these color knobs is a modulation, is your basic modulation for that type of synthesis or that type of waveform. So like you can really do FM on it. And so, and the thing is, as far as it being digital, that 100% doesn't matter, because it sounds as good, as authentic as any analog um, synthesizer of the past if you make it sound like that with your sound design. Because, I mean, you can add the digital things all you want, and then it'll stop sounding like that. But if you know how to keep the digital stuff out of it, or the digital made, the extra digital stuff out of it, and just pare it down to what it is, even without using the System 100 plug out, well, just the basic voice, like it really is like amazing sounding all around. And the filter section has everything you want in a multi-mode filter. Um, and so, well, it has the high pass and low pass. The thing is, you can create a band pass by using both the high pass and low pass at the same time. It'll let you do that. And then your tone thing is basically like the ability to run this whole synthesizer through an amp. And then, it's got your bit crusher, which I don't care for or use. I think it's dumb. And I'm just saying that to raise some eyebrows, but it's true. I feel that way. And the reverb, delay, and the reverb and delay on here are just plain all you need, and it's on board. And plus it's got this sort of push and turn, push down and turn knob. You can just do with your finger. I do it all the time, and it's kind of like a ribbon controller. It goes, it's a frequency knob. And yeah, you can sync the LFO with the tempo and everything. And plus, it's got the patch points. The patch points are just kind of basic for something that's semi-modular. It's not like the huge patch bay that you get on the Neutron, but that's the thing, is you don't need it, because what you get instead is where you'd have all the other patch points, you've got things that are simpler than chords, like just buttons. Ring modulation. You got ring modulation between the two oscillators. Nope, turn it off. You got your different oscillator types. You got your sub oscillator goes into different things. You got your noise. You got your noise types. You got your white and pink, and the other thing about it is it can be in mono. You use CV in mono. That's perfect. And I prefer to use CV, so I keep it in mono. But then it's got 4 voices, and those 4 voices are more than enough with everything else, like detuning and everything. And the effects, it basically gives you a wide enough pad that you'll ever need. Well, yeah. Okay, the DFAM too. The DFAM, I think, the way it is put together, I really think it's perfect. But I have to play with it some more. I feel like I just haven't even, like, I just still have just gotten it out of the box, and I feel bad about that. But I mean, I've messed around with it enough, but then I have to go back to the manual and actually learn more about what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I'll definitely be talking a lot more about that. I was thinking this whole year was going to be like just DFAM videos, and it hasn't quite worked out that way yet. But because I kind of wanted to say goodbye to using the circuit a lot by doing that in January, and then move on to other things, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some System 1 videos and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and read the chat a little bit. Hard question. System 1. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, I haven't played that many synths. My music store doesn't have good ones. I played a CS80, and that was amazing. And I played a System 8, and that was just like my System 1. So I was like, sorry, I have a System 1. I'm sure it kind of might sound fatter, but and it has distortion. Whatever. Casio makes the best synths Hayes Anderson has ever played. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but hey, that could be true, because yeah, Casio has done some things good. even though they do cheap stuff. Okay. And yeah, Richard, what's your favorite? The Waldorf Blofeld, yeah. Has so many preset sounds. I just got the Roland XP60 workstation, and yeah, I only went through 200 of the sounds, and there's so much more, and they're all so good because they're all 4 complete patches layered on top of each other that you can change the levels of on board, even though you can't do much synthesis except for through the menus. Yeah, so I'm gonna start with this. Start doing like really basic videos with the System 1. Start with a square wave and what it sounds like and what you can do with it, and you know, in ways that sound good. That's not just a square, but like, hey, this is what you can do with it, and just do a few minutes sort of thing, and then get more complicated with it because really one thing that you know when I first got the System 1 was just that like there's nobody who does System 1 videos. Nobody really liked it. Nobody got it. But yeah, functionality wise and sound wise, it's king. And so I'm glad that it's kind of a well kept secret. Um, yeah. Yeah, and see, the System 8 would definitely be great because of the fact that you can just have your Jupiter 8 and stuff like that in there. Is really cool. I don't really care for putting plugouts on here because, like I said, it sounds better than as good as anything I've ever heard of a synthesizer on video on YouTube or whatever. You know, except for Moogs, I guess. You know, Moogs are more beautiful than anything, also in their own way. So if I were to now the DFAM is different, but you know, before I got the DFAM, I planned on getting myself a Minotaur. You know, I always knew, you know, it was always a 100% I am going to get a Minotaur. It still is. But because there's so many on the market, I've opted to, you know, to get other things and do other things because I know that I'll always be able to get it. But like for a bass synth, the Moog Minotaur, I would say, and I have tried that one, and so that's a runner up for my favorite synth ever that I've played is the Moog Minotaur, and it's sound wise it blows the Mini Brute out of the water. The default System 8. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Nothing spells class like Casio, Hayes says. Yeah, and you know, square waves, it's almost like yeah, you always start with that. I always think about I was thinking about that a lot yesterday about how you make how to explain to people how you make a sine because I want to say that everything starts with the sine wave, right? But when you're making circuits, you can't if you don't start with the sine wave. Sine wave is hard to make. It's hard to get to. It's hard to get to a good, perfect sine wave. Like, and a lot of people don't even get that out into their synthesizer when they make a synthesizer. It's like you have varying degrees of perfection with a sine wave because it's hard for a synthesizer to do. It's hard for an oscillator to get to that point. There isn't just sine wave oscillators. I mean, you have to build a sine wave oscillator from something simpler like a square wave. And round it out with a filter and stuff like that. Yeah. And yeah, and that's the thing with the System 1 is you can create patches quickly because it's just like you do something and it's a patch. You do something, it's a patch. I don't know if you guys remember those commercials in the 80s. Oh, it was the early 90s when they started doing the cigarette nicotine patches. there's this commercial. It was so funny because everyone would be like, "It's a patch. It's a patch. Yeah, a patch. A patch. A patch. It's a patch." But what I'm going to do with the system one, and this is what's lined up right after the Plaits um, tutorials series, or maybe along with it, if I have time, is that I'll do from scratch patches on the system one and go through and do that. Even before I get into the DFAM, because the DFAM I require a lot more practice on before I feel like I'm really adding to the community. I could always make more videos on it, but I don't feel like I'm adding value at the moment. I feel like I can jam on it and do jams and show you guys that. The Volca FM makes surprisingly fat bass sounds. Okay. The Behringer Model D more than covers the Minotaur ground. I believe that. But I totally considered it for that reason. And in the end, I think it's a matter of the big knobs. The Minotaur has all big knobs. The D has mostly small knobs and a couple big ones. So that's the deal. Is I like the way the Minotaur looks, and you can rack mount it with the super wide rack ears that have the Moog symbol right here, and I wouldn't mind doing that. And so I realized that. Yeah, and the Siren's pretty cool too, but it's not black faced, so it doesn't have a black face plate. So it won't go with mine as well. And what I need it for is a bass synth anyway, right? How much are they to buy in America? The Minotaurs, 400. They're around 400. Yeah, same as a Mother 32. That's why you want to make a choice between the Mother 32 and the Minotaur. The Minotaur's got your 2 oscillators. The Mother 32's got your all that stuff on it, and the sequencer and stuff. So it's a thing to think about, but I don't necessarily like the other stuff on the Mother 32 that comprises the sequencer and whatnot. I like the synth part, and I wouldn't mind it being just one oscillator, but I like the Minotaur, and I wouldn't mind it being just one oscillator. I would still choose the Minotaur over the Mother 32. And I can add CV to it too. I can mod it out for a Euro rack if I want. I probably won't. Oh, Imperfekt? Good to see you here, Imperfekt. So you've done a pile of videos with the System 1. It can do anything. The presets it comes with sound pretty bad, though. I haven't looked through the presets. I literally have not listened to all the sounds. I've listened to like the first page of sounds, and then I was like, well, how do you get to the second page? I was even trying to do it, like press the button, and I didn't do it. But so yeah, it seemed kind of I got it used from somebody, so I was wondering whether they were his patches or the originals. I wasn't even sure about that. Yeah. Who makes the patches? That's a big deal. That's a totally big deal, because that's what the general public sees in a synth. They're like, what does it sound like? And they go through and go, oh, that sounds awful. They might have only gone through 5 patches, and they might have all been bad patches. That's the thing about a synthesizer is a synthesizer. In the end, they're all the same. They're all oscillators, just plain oscillators going through filters and envelopes, and then, so how do you get the different sounds? Well, most of it is you. Most of it is the synthesist making it sound different. Of course, there's small differences, but there's small differences. And I think patch making presets that are on the synths make for a big difference in what the public sees a synth as. Yeah, totally. That is totally true, Imperfekt. Yeah, Volca bass. Volca bass. Yeah. It's awesome. Sequencer stresses you out a bit. Yeah, I could see that. I haven't played with it myself, but man, I've drooled over it. It's nice to have, like, it's like the only TB303 that can, you know, that can have all three of the oscillators be on different notes and rhythms. It's like, like what? Three voice TB303. Like, thanks, man, for making that. That's awesome. I think in terms of knobs, yeah. And actually, okay, and this is my idea today, and I've always thought about it, but like, I think I can even do this. I'll make a knob out of cardboard, and it'll be my big knob. Because the thing is, you can get the bigger your knob, the more precise you can get, right? Because these little knobs here on the DFAM, you try to just a little bit, and it's like, well, you've gone. You can tell how far you've gone, right? But if the knob is bigger, then that same amount of movement that you do is going to be a fraction of that movement. So no matter what you've got on there, if you put a bigger knob on it, then you can get more precision when you turn it. So I'm going to make this knob that's like this big out of cardboard and put it on my mini brute as the cutoff knob. Just this is a fun thing to do. It's like have a handle. You can make it out of anything, but I have some cardboard laying around, so I might just do that instead of starting to like make one out of something else first. Don't steal my idea, you guys, before I do it. I'm just joking. You can totally steal my idea, but I think I'm still going to do it sometime. That would be fun. Oh, the peak got off to a slow start because the default patches were weak. Yeah, I remember watching the default patches, and I thought it sounded good anyway. But yeah, I really like a lot of other people's. I like Mylar Melodies patches that he did. I like what's his name? Oh, why can't I remember his name? I haven't seen many of his videos lately. It's lowercase, starts with an R, really short name. Sorry, I'm having coffee today. Sorry, people, I lied. I did drink tea for a few days, and then I had a coffee day, and tea for another couple days, and it's a coffee day again. So I'm at least breaking it up a little bit, which is good. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah. R. Benny, that's who I was talking about. R. Benny does wonders on the peak. And I'm not quite sure if I remember if he just like showcased his patches or not, or whether he just was, he was playing it and doing a few particular patches for each of his videos. But I just always liked what he's done with the peak. Oh, that's why they released the external cutoff knob controller for the SEO2, right? They released a big knob for the SEO2. Put a steering wheel on it. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Richard Kerr. That's a good idea. You guys make a steering wheel knob. Hey, Darren. Darren T. House is in the house. Good to see you, Darren. Yeah. You got some good stuff going on. You got Inky's sample that you messed with, and Yeah, the Castlevania soundtrack is freaking amazing. The alternate soundtrack to the theme song that Darren T. House did. Everybody check it out. It's really good. And I didn't see the original um, or hear the original theme to the Castlevania game, but but yeah, but his is definitely epic. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Tea rules in England. Yes. I like English breakfast tea. I also like Irish breakfast tea. I've been able to get that a little bit here, even though it's harder to get. It's harder to find here. Hey, sup Marshall? Marshall Arnold is in the house as well. Good to see you. Earl Grey. Yep, that's everybody's favorite, right? Or I mean it's the most popular, right? Is Earl Grey. I happen to like green tea the best. As far as tea goes, I'm a Japanese guy. I like matcha, and matcha is temple tea. It's powdered, so it's like it'll go. You know, you basically ingest the whole leaf. You know, so it's kind of powerful, and it can go well with milk too. And it actually tastes like English breakfast tea when you add milk to matcha. Your topics. Because I didn't know what to talk about today. But hey, I'm so glad that everybody showed up. Oh man, see it says top chat again, and it needs to be live chat. All messages are visible. Dang it. Yeah. But I'm sure I've been catching most of the people that are on here. I'm sure you guys are all on here. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, Marshall, if you just got here, we were talking about the idea of like making a super huge knob because I was talking about, you know, obviously you get more precision the bigger knob you get. So if you had like some kind of huge thing, you could get on your cutoff. I'm gonna like make an add-on knob that goes onto that knob. And and Richard Kerr said a steering wheel. That's the best idea ever. Steering wheel for your cutoff knob. That's awesome. You could go really slow, which is what you gotta do. You gotta go slow, little changes, small changes. That's what I'm learning. I can't learn that enough. Like I'm so bad and awkward at modular and at soundscapes and evolving soundscapes and generative stuff because like I change things too much. I'm too impatient and I change things at too great a rate. This is what synthesis is about, is to slow down and little changes. I want to make a poster that just says little changes. I put it on a post-it note once for myself. So a topic brought up by Imperfekt. How do you feel about Roland phasing out boutiques? Wonderful. No, no, actually, well, a lot of people were complaining that the boutiques are so great and so great almost because what we really would have wanted was a full size, right? And that's what Behringer's doing. And I realized that you see, Roland is re-upping their trademarks on that stuff, but um, but that even though that doesn't hurt Behringer and the way they've done things because they're still a-okay with their RD808 and 909s that way. But yeah, that kind of just brings up the idea, you know, that oh well, maybe we can protect our you know, our names and our styling, at least the exact name and whatnot, in the future from it just happening all the time. Um, and I understand a company wanting to do that, but yeah. So as far as boutiques, like, would we want to see other boutiques? And is it okay that they're phasing them out? I think the nature of a boutique, it's like Moog. You know, they only you know you only make something for so long, and then you got to move on, right? And I think they've made enough of those that you'll still be able to, if you really want to find one, you'll be able to find them for a little while. Yeah. Massive knobs are always better. Yeah, and that's why I like Moog, you know? And actually in Eurorack, there's knobs that are even bigger, because there's just a few companies that are still doing the 5U sort of. I like Aeon Modular for that reason. But I still I don't know if I want to put the knob kit on my DFAM or not. It almost looks more cluttered with the two different sizes of knobs and kind of crammed in there. Does it look cluttered or does it look better? Like I would like to hear some people's opinions on whether or not if you've seen somebody with the knob set, whether it actually just you think it looks good, or I think it looks kind of clean like this. Because I have things with black knobs, and then I have if I have the silver knobs, I want them to be big. That's the deal, and that's why I was talking about not getting the Model D, the Behringer Model D, is because it has so many smaller knobs. The same thing with the Neutrons, so many smaller knobs, a couple big knobs, right? And it's just visual. And I wasn't even thinking precision when it comes to that, obviously. But yeah, but that is a factor. It's been good while they release a new boutique. And yeah, tiny controls. That's the thing about the boutiques. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think it diminishes what kind of value they were meant to have in the first place. They were meant to be what they are. And I think there's a place for them. Yeah. I think it's cool that Marshall made that 3D 3D stand for them. I watched that video a long time ago. That's pretty cool. I like that. The woodpecker's back. We have a woodpecker problem. Anyway, dang it. Oh my God, here it comes again. I went out there one day last year and with a broomstick and swung at it, and I broke a window. So I just don't even want to go out there anymore because it didn't even work anyway. It didn't keep him away. We have a woodpecker pecking on the house. Anyway, other topics. The D50 is stereo out. Same with the TR8 and TR9, but the others have FX stereo out. Yeah. Otherwise, dual mono. Like I was saying on the dual mono. Like on the Focusrite 2i2, no, you can't direct monitor something and have it be actually in stereo into there. You have to pan it left and right with something in the computer, like a DAW. You have to pan 2 tracks left and right, then it'll work. Yeah. The tiny pots on the Boog make for considerably different settings. The same sounds. Yeah. I could imagine, yeah, that's interesting. Pecking on a metal light post? Wow, yeah, that's a stupid one. God. That's awful. Oh, man. I can't stand them. We even put a fake bird out there so that it would, but then it started just like pecking at the bird and pecking its feathers off. It's like, it's not afraid. Anyway. Yeah. By a peregrine falcon. Yes. Well, that's why they're coming down here, because they're afraid of the eagles and the hawks that are up on that hill that's right by my house, and they're all up there. Yeah. Yeah, this is a gleamer. So this is my cable. This is my cable rack. Cable rack gleamer. Hey you. That tickles. I know what you're thinking. That I'm cute, right? Oh. He knows what you're. She knows what you're thinking. But what's cool is it can have a light. We can have a light party. Let's hang out and play. Let's have a light party. So, shoot. La 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 la. Oh, here. La 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 la. Do you see that? See the light? La la. Oh. Anyway, if there's loud enough music, its whole tail lights up. The tail becomes, yeah. Oh, cool. What? The tail becomes a light thingy. Yeah. A stethoscope. We were talking about stethoscopes, so no, we weren't talking about stethoscopes. We were talking about stethoscopes on simplysynth.com, Bose forum. Yesterday, but yeah. What's it called? A VU meter, whatever. Not a VU meter, but the other thing. I'm funny. In will destroy Pecker. What? I'm all ears. Huh. Yeah. And you know what the coolest workstation synth I've ever played is? Can you guess? The smallest ever workstation synth that is also a giraffe. Ever seen one of these babies? It's good stuff. Let me show you. There you go. See if I can. Maybe it's better like this. Like this. I'm all ears. Okay. I'm going to shut you off here. Night, friend. Good night. There we go. I'm not that good at it yet, but I'm getting better. Checking out all the presets. A lot of the presets were made by some unprofessional sound designers, but that's okay. Yeah, I have seen DivKid's mutes module, and yeah, it's amazing, and I want one. Actually, yeah, I totally would love that kind of thing because that's perfect for your drums in your rack, just to be able to do that, like to turn on and off your kick in a good way, on and off your hi-hats in a good way that doesn't click, on and off your clap. It just makes sense. Turn on and off your shakers. It really does, to have one of those 4-channel ones and then another one because it's so good. But the thing is, I've always been into the Bafako hex mix stuff, and that really, I don't know if you know that he mentioned it. It's actually his mutes module is a slimmed down 4-channel version, sort of the Bafako hex. Well, part of that. Is it the VCAs that do that, or I don't know, or the actual mutes on the mixer, hex mix? I don't know. I forgot. But yeah, that's what he said. Is it's kind of like their idea for how they did the mutes. He really liked the best out of any other modules, and he's right. So that's the thing to get. Did I make an album? No, not yet. I am working on a few possible albums that I will release on Bandcamp either at the very end of this year or next year. And the types of music I am trying to create, and I'm really doing this as an experimental musician, trying to go like, can I do this kind of music? Can I do that kind of music? Can I do this kind of music? They say, um, chill beats or lo-fi hip hop, as people call it. I prefer chill beats because repurposing the name hip hop was not really cool, just based on BPM, and lo-fi is not that. To make it lo-fi is not necessary. You can have hi-fi chill beats, and that's what I prefer. Even though you have some lo-fi sounds in there, that doesn't mean it's actually lo-fi. So I still wouldn't call it that when you've got hi-fi stuff going on with lo-fi elements. And then so there'd be that, and then there's basic house. I would do a house album, and I've got some tracks worked up for that, and also ambient soundscapes. And the ambient soundscapes, believe it or not, are the most difficult. I mean, it's easy to make music. For me, it just seems easy to make music because it's all patterns and rules and systems, And ambient soundscapes are kind of free of like, what's your real instruction? What are you trying to do here? What are people wanting? That is such a fluid thing. And it takes, I think, a lot of attention, because there's a lot of attention paid into, from people that like ambient soundscapes like me. I pay a lot of attention, and I am kind of picky myself. But that's what DFAM does right out of the box. Dang it, I missed what that was about. But yeah. Okay. Speaking of the OP1, any thoughts on its return at double the price, Mr. Basic? Yes. I was thinking about getting an OP1 for my brother because he likes cows, and he's he's a music teacher and music director, and has two sons, my nephews, that would love that sort of thing. But that's the thing, is it was just too much. It was too much, and now it's way too much. And I don't blame them. I know that that's the best that they can do. So don't start thinking that, oh, Teenage Engineering could have put it out for less and they're being stingy. No, that's the best they can do. Just like that's the best you can put out a Matrix Brute now is for more than it was originally. Yeah. So it's great, but see, I like the pocket operators, and I'm more into the pocket operators. I think you put a bunch of pocket operators together, it's pretty cool. As far as a sampler synth goes, I think the OP1 is pretty cool, and I kind of wish the OPZ was more of like just a sample into it and still do type of stuff too. But you got maybe you can. I haven't looked into it that much, but no, I don't think it's cool, except for it's as cool as it is. I don't see that they could expect to sell many OP1s. That's my opinion on that. So there probably won't be making that many, and they probably don't expect to be making that many. They're experts. They know all this stuff. Yeah, 1,200 is what I heard that it's selling for now, as opposed to $899. It's now $1,299 or 1,200. Yeah. Yeah, you said that. And Marshall Arnold already said it. Right. They can't help the price increase, but it is what it is. It's not that great of a thing, but to have that kind of price increase, but it is what it is. You can't help it. It's the way it is. Deal with it. If you want it, yeah. If you really want it, I don't know. Can you want it to the tune of 1,200 no matter how much you want it? That's questionable. it's kind of like you got to just be a person with that kind of income. And there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of income. I'm not one of them. What? I've never heard of lo-fi hip hop. Yeah. Well, it's yeah, well, it's what I listen to a lot on YouTube. When I just go like, all right, I'm gonna get away from YouTube, so I'm just gonna turn on the chill hop station. I listen to chill hop, and what else is good? Ambition, the channel Ambition, is a good just live streaming, chill hip hop. Chilled Cow is, I think, the most popular one. Is the most popular channel, Chilled Cow, and it's always good. Yeah, I think it's what a lot of people listen to the most. And it's just nice. I like low BPM, just swinging beats. Yeah, just turn the BPM way down to like 72 or something. And even like pitch down your samples and make it, because pitching down samples is just so satisfying. It makes it makes it into like just a it's almost like your ears can detect the space in between the grains, and it stretches, and it makes you feel like you're stretching. Yeah. Oh, so you're kind of serious that way. Yeah, no, I'm inundated with lo-fi hip hop. So whatever you're watching on YouTube, you're going to be tempted to think that that's the most popular thing on YouTube, right? Because YouTube is making you think that. And so YouTube makes me think that lo-fi hip hop is the most popular thing ever because it shows it to me all the time. But that's not you can't make that connection and be sure about things like that. DJ Shadow, yeah, DJ Shadow is classic. DJs never heard of that. Hearing the name of DJs is always kind of a tough thing. It's one of those things where you're in the know if you know DJs. By name, I mean. Soaking up a lot of Psytrance lately. Yeah. Yeah, Marshall, I've really enjoyed your Psytrance stuff and just trance stuff in general, but Psytrance is kind of like that's a little hardcore for me. Psytrance, I mean, it's when you don't change the bass note. I mean, when you don't change the root note for so long, and it's just the whole song, and then you don't like change it up and have a break that's like 16 to 32 measures long, and you don't do that with Psytrance. You don't have a break to give yourself a break, and it's high BPM, so no breaks and the same root note. So it's like you really are like motion to the ocean, and that's serious stuff. And I'm not quite as into that, I don't think. Maybe I don't know why, but I have heard some good stuff, and I've actually liked what Marshall Arnold has done that way. Yeah, I like watching people work on tracks. I like watching people come up with tracks and show progress and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool way to chill. Imperfekt says we're all brainwashed. The only way out is to stop paying attention. Yeah. But yeah, monotonous. But that's the thing about Psytrance is I understand it's like there's so many layers to it, and there's so much variation in all the things that can go on. Like the more variation you add in all sorts of ways, it can be really full and cool. Yeah. Psy is way better with shrooms. I bet. Yeah. Yeah. I've tripped a great deal more than basically anybody out there on mushrooms in the past, and um, to the point where it doesn't, it doesn't actually have that much of an effect on me anymore. But when I do it, it doesn't have the same effects. It's like it changes the first 50 times or whatever, and then the next 50 times. It's just kind of, it changes with your life. Anyway. I don't recommend anybody do that, because it's not for hardly anybody. It's for certain people. And if you're that type of person, you already know that it's for you. And I was actually kind of afraid of it at first, even though you know, I knew that it was for me. But yeah, I just never wanted to, smoke anything or put anything in my lungs. But in college, I did that. I did that instead, and it really changed my life. It really changed everything, the way I think of everything, and it expands. It expands your horizons. It expands your world for the permanently. Doesn't make you dumber. So that's a don't drive with shrooms. Yeah, that's an experience. I was with my friend driving in this this convertible with yeah, and it was like, and it was at night too. And so we're relying on the headlights, and there's forest on either side. So there's basically like, I don't even know if there was a deer, but there was like 100 deer and then 50 raccoons just like in front of us. And we were just like, oh my gosh, going through it. And he was seeing it, I was seeing, we were both seeing the same things. Crazy. But anyway, he's like, I can't feel my legs. Good times, good times. Uh, I was like, I was in the passenger seat. I was like, okay with that, because he wasn't going. He was going pretty slow, and not changing his speed at all. Yeah, yeah. Music can take you there. That's for sure. And Psytrance can take you there. That's what you don't need shrooms. You can do Psytrance. You can do Psytrance music and listen to Psytrance music instead. It's all good. Yeah. So yeah. So here we go. Should I write on here? I can't even see that. Whoa! It's an earthquake. What's going on? What's going on, people? Play us a ditty, Mr. Basic. Harry Potter. I'm into doing movie themes today, apparently. But here, this is the on. I'm just using one Plaits today, and well, because I'm actually practicing to go through to try to make a decent tutorial on things. But man, I've only really learned like half the modes. But here's the classic mode. It's pretty simple. And turn down the mini brute a little bit. Oh, that's loud. So yeah. So this is the timbre. Okay, I have to explain this right. This is a square wave. The first, it's a 2 oscillator synth on the classic mode, and the timbre knob becomes the square wave and its pulse width. So. And then back to the middle is just a perfect square, right? And then the morph knob is the triangle wave. And the morph knob all the way down is the regular triangle. And then it turns into a saw as you go up. And at the end is a saw with a notch. And then this is the whole, it's just a notch. Square wave, actually, at the very end. So turn it all the way back down. And what we've got here is 2 oscillator synth. One is a square and one's a triangle. The harmonics is a detune. And detune it down the other way. Let's see. And that's that. And with all of these modes, you can always add FM one way from the attenuverter and minus. But the timbre knob actually does that for, I believe, for just the triangle. But in a sort of a different way. Yep. And so that is the classic mode on Plaits. And then the auxiliary out, instead of the regular out, you go the auxiliary out, and it hard syncs the two. And what's cool about the Plaits is you can have both the regular out and the aux out going at the same time, and maybe fatten some of your sounds that way. In a lot of the modes, it works that way to fatten your sound. It never really works, or hardly ever really works, it's not a left-right. It's not like the rings. The rings module has an actual left-right, or it has an even odd, which isn't left-right, but no, that's totally different. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even said it was a left-right, but it ends up being left-right because the even will go into the left and the odd will go into the right. Well, it'll just go back and forth. And so every note you play, it'll play one note into one ear, and then the echo of that note, it'll play into the other ear. And you can even make the echo one a different pitch, just like you do with clouds. See, like with clouds, let's see. So this is regular. And then I have the clouds pitched to exactly the same. I have it tuned to the same note, to the right note. But if I turn the pitch knob down, See, I can change the pitch of the echo. Change the pitch of the delayed note, which is pretty darn cool. Then I can tune it back. Almost. Almost. Now, if I had a bigger knob, like a knob the size of a wok, then I could really tune these things well. It would just be just that quick. You could tune something. You could tune a pitch knob. If you have a steering wheel for a knob, you could totally easily just like, yep, it's right there. Yeah, I do need a spare LFO. Let's see. Let's use the DFAM. Should I? Let's take pitch out into the timbre knob on the Plaits, because that is the pulse width for the square, and we'll turn up the attenuverter all the way so that we get the effect from it. Oh, so I have to... I'll turn the envelope up a lot. And turn the DFAM down. Okay. Turn the envelope up. Oh, wow, yeah, that was all the way down. That's doing it on a beat. I tried with the System 1's LFO, but it didn't work last time. Let me see. Something, I don't know what's wrong with the System 1's LFO, but it doesn't seem to just plain work as an LFO to go out to things just like it is. It just doesn't seem to be working that way. Let's give it a shot. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. I don't get it. But I can modulate it with my hand. That's pinching it off, is going back to the left. Yep, the DFAM was working. Just have it down. It just is doing a stepped thing because I put it into the pitch. It doesn't. The DFAM doesn't actually have an LFO, like a sine wave LFO out. I wish it did. but like. Oh, I have it into the model thing. What? There we go. There it goes. Let's try it with the system one again. Still not turning it itself. But the DFAM is. Oh, come on. Yeah. So I can do a sort of sample and hold. But actually, it's just sampling these eight values. That value, that value, that value, that value, that value, that value, that value. As it goes, and you can see it going through this. Yeah, Imperfekt, that's what I'm thinking, is that it will only send a trigger. That the system one will only send a trigger if I'm giving it a note. And actually, it is hooked up via MIDI, but maybe not. Oh, there's the system one. So I am putting a note into it, so it should be working. That's the deal. Sometimes it doesn't even hit. What is with that? What's with the system one? It just doesn't sound very good. Well, I haven't messed with it to know yet. What is wrong? Nothing in particular. Yeah, that's cool. Then add the mini brute. Then add the Plaits. I even did a little detune on the aftertouch there. Duh. Thank you. Wait, where? Yeah, thank you, Imperfekt. You have to set it to mono mode. So let's try it now. What's happening here? It's the timbre knob. I have the amount of modulation all the way up. There it is. There it is. Pulse width modulation from the System 1's LFO. Thank you so much, Imperfekt. Actually, it's just little things like that I can sit there for an hour and just not have gotten that and just like give up, right? So it's nice to have friends. Thank you, Imperfekt. You're awesome. Okay. Yeah, it is a great video, Darren. Okay. I'm gonna read the chat real quick here. There's been some things. Darren T House might write a track live. That would be cool. I miss the north, Lisa says. You used to live further north, and that's where Darren lives, huh? That's what I'm wondering. Okay. Is my System 1 set to key? Well, it usually, unless, see, I have to make sure the fine tune is at the middle for the second oscillator. And that's about it. You don't tune it. Oh, well, actually you can tune it, but it's one of those things where you press and, it's a second page menu thing, but it stays tuned just because it's digital. But for the CV in, I had some issues at first, and I had to turn it to the right setting. I had to set it to the right note the first time I used CV with it. But since then, it's worked just fine. Yeah. That there was a key button on the System 1M, so you can change that behavior. It's not a which one is it? Well, there is a key button, but it's one of the other buttons. It's either the legato button or the oscillator type button or something like that you hold down and then do something else. And that's, but that's in the manual. It was long ago enough that I don't remember exactly, but yeah, you can. Never used yours in modular fashion, never had any. Yeah, I'm just starting. See, like I haven't, up until now, I haven't had hardly any luck with the LFO going to anything, probably because most of the time I've tried it, it's been in the wrong mode, yeah. And yeah, totally. But I'll use it more and more when I have like my whole modular setup with the. What I'm gonna do very soon is get another one of these boxes, and it's going to be right here. The DFAM is going to be in it, and this row, and what'll also fit next to the DFAM is 20U. So that would be the poly and poly module, but I'm not getting that yet, actually, because before that, I'll have another clouds module. So that still leaves 2U for the cat module, maybe. The cat module's 2U. I mean, 2 HP. I'm sorry. I was saying U. I meant HP. 2 HP. Yeah. And then I'll get a Minotaur, and then I'll have another row to put something in. And if it's not the Pro 1 or the Bro 1, then I'll be getting more modular for that space. And then a third box. Oh, obviously that'll be the third box. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway. That's referring to the LFO. Key trig. Oh yeah, there is key trig option for the LFO right here. That light, this one right here. But what that does is, I mean, the key already triggers it. You already know this probably, but the key already triggers it, but it re-triggers instead of keeps going every time you press the next note if you have this on. Yeah. But what I like is to just have it off and to just use a sine wave. But see, that's the thing. It's like it works to go into the system one sound for it to just be a sine wave. But yeah, in order to do it out to something else, you'd have to hold the note down, which you can totally do on the mini root. You can just go hold, but it'll be holding an arpeggio. Yeah. Anyway. So they knocked down those toilets. What? What are you talking about? Okay, reading the chat. Reading the chat. Not sure if they'll stay running between key presses or only run while a key is pressed. Yeah, it'll only run while the key is pressed. Yeah, that's why it wasn't working for me just to have it sitting there and not with a keyboard and have it go in LFO into something, because it just wasn't registering in LFO unless I was pressing a key. So it's a little funky little thing there. Yeah, so I'll definitely need LFOs for my rack. And truth be told, I've said it before. I don't know if anyone remembers, because it's kind of not a very memorable company and module if you're not into it so far. Is the EOWave does the Zone BF LFOs, and that's what I'm going to go with, because there's 16 waveforms of each of the LFOs, 16 type LFO types, just on a knob. And I like that, because that's a lot like the System 1, how it's got all these modulation options. For this color knob can do 6 different things per waveform. If it, it can go out to, well, it's for sources. But yeah, I love knobs that go to, multi-mode knobs. And like the multi-mode knobs for you got your saw wave, square wave, triangle wave, super saw, etc. I love that kind of functionality. It puts everything in the best kind of workflow. And I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have got the System 1 amp. I wouldn't have known that, because, how much have you got that here? See, you've got waves for the LFO here, and I like that. See, and it's a clicky knob. I would like it if it was a clicky knob for the Zone BFs, but it's not. I like creamy knobs anyway, but I'll just have to be careful not to bump it. Yeah, I never anticipated using my System 1 too much for with other Eurorack modules and whatnot, because it doesn't have that much functionality that way, unless you particularly go like, well, instead of that filter, I want to use the System 1's filter, that sort of thing. Just basic stuff. And it's useful. Yeah, mono mode and the key trig off. Yeah, that's what I had it on. Yeah, the key trig was off. Yeah. And it worked. Manchester, dance capital of England. Cool. I'll remember that. Or I'll see if that's true. Don't forget to make use of that tone knob. Yeah. See, I like to keep the tone knob always down at, yep. This is about 35, 40%. Just a little bit warmer. Just keep it a little bit warmer. So you guys are talking about the System 1. I will turn other things down and turn that up. Why? What's changing my... I don't have the amplitude on the LFO. Why is that changing? I think it might. Oh, yeah. It's just the velocity curve is kind of extreme. That's what it is. The velocity curve, just automatic velocity curve on this is really extreme. And that would be the velocity curve on the mini brute, the control surface. So yeah, tone knob. This is in the center. This is down. This is down all the way. Sounds best. But you see my compressors. My compressors work really hard on that. Look at that. Because the way down there, you really clip more when you put a lot of bass in the lower registers, because it's kind of the thing that you almost, it doesn't hurt your ears, and you can't even you don't notice it as much, but the signal notices it. It's a lot of voltage. That's why we have low cuts, just plain to cut off the lowest things that we can't even hear that actually create a lot of craziness. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. So, whoops. And so the tone, take it all the way up. It's more compared to in the middle. Tone all the way up. It's sharper. It's kind of muffled with it, just even in the middle. Never turn on the suck switch. Yeah, this is the suck switch. Wait. The pitch envelope. Turn the reverb down. That's the suck switch. No, I don't know. That and was it sync? Actually, that's not bad. Cross modulation. So yeah. That's the thing about the System 1. There isn't a suck switch. The feedback knob way down. Actually, yeah, this is the suck switch right here. Bit crusher. It just makes everything cheaper and worse. It makes everything break on purpose. It's broken. But then you can fix it by turning the knob back down. The System 1 taught me a lot about synthesis. Yeah, it's teaching me a lot about synthesis. I'm a total noob, and the System 1M definitely was the right choice. It's not completely knob per function, but it's knob per function in everything that you need knob per function for, and it's got these multi-mode knobs to make it just so much easier to do everything else that a more complicated synth would do with either patching or with some other more complicated way. And yeah, it really is. It's just, you know, it being my first synth, I cannot find any actual fault in it of things that actually matter. So, and I was thinking about getting a second one to get my 8 voices instead of, like, eventually getting a peak or something. I could have 8 voices with 2 System 1s. Because they're still cheap, used, because people get rid of them, and There's a ton of them on the market. Yeah. So it's dedicated knobs. That's the thing. It's a philosophy. It's made of a philosophy of dedicated knobs. It's basically a modular because it's made to be like the whole system 100 system that they had, which is legendary, or the system 700. Well, this is, I mean, the 500 series was supposed to be more like the system 700, but it's also made up a lot like the 100 too. Oh yeah. Um, the thing is, the GoPro I haven't really used yet. I started to use it right when I got it. First videos on this, some of the first videos on this stream, I might have. Well, I haven't even done that with it because it's a 4K. This is the Yi 4K Plus, and the Plus means that it's got a microphone jack, right? Possible microphone jack that you put in by using a USB-C, which is what it is, to 33 point whatever millimeter jack headphone jack into the USB-C or an adapter. And I tried that, but I probably was using the wrong mic for it to work. So I'll try it with a lapel mic or something like that. But anyway, not much use for 4K yet. And what I found out after I got this, I even made a video about it and took it down a long time ago, was that I can't edit 4K video on my computer. This has got what, 8 megabytes of RAM tops. It might even have 4 in my computer, I mean. And so can't edit yet. That's why I got the Zoom Q8, right? Where I don't have to edit. That's why I got this. You go perfect audio into here. Apparently, I don't care about video yet because it doesn't look any better than this live stream, hardly, using this, right? And this is the best DSLR on the market. No, it's not. It's not a DSLR. This is a point and shoot camera by Canon that that looks like a DSLR. It's big. It's heavy. It's bulky. It's got um, it's got 48 times optical zoom. I can zoom out. It actually comes out like that. And yeah, see, boom. That's my zoom. Okay, so now this is still a really great camera. This is one of the best I've got. But it's a cheap. It was $150 at the time years ago when I got it just from Best Buy, and it's a point and shoot, but it's got a lot of features of the DSLR. It just doesn't quite have the quality. It's got noise in regular and low light all the time, kind of like this live stream does, like that. There's all these little everywhere, all these little movie things. You can get rid of that, by the way. I don't know. Everybody probably knows this now, but lighting always improves the your camera quality. Like if you go outside, your camera will seem like a much better camera than if you're inside, and so that's why you never even see people doing commercials for Zoom cameras for this inside, because yeah, whoops, not good in low light situations. So yeah, so it's not a mirrorless. It's just a cheap point and shoot digital camera. This is not a DSLR. Oh, I didn't tell you what it was. It's the Canon PowerShot SX520 HS. The Canon PowerShot 5X 520 HS, SX PowerShot SX 520. PowerShot SX 520. And there's another one too that has like 52 zoom instead of 48 that came out just after it, and my mother-in-law has that one. But like, and yeah, they're great. But it's still isn't as good as a DSLR, and I'm gonna get a Canon as well. I'm gonna get the Canon SL2 is what it's called for video, and it has a flip out screen for doing vlogs and stuff, and for seeing yourself and all that. But it's pretty decent. Yeah, and I'm always going with Canon. I am one of those that's brand loyal already, always to Canon, because of other cameras that I've worked on in the past, that my friends have had, that have been just plain amazing. Yeah. So Imperfekt says, yeah, my first videos were on a camera with bad low light performance. I'm doing much better now that I got a better lens. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And the SL2, the Canon SL2 that I'm going to get in a few months, maybe next fall or whatever, is like, yeah. And you know what's also, if you, yeah, almost just like the SL2, which is also good for video and for vlogs and stuff, is the Canon TI, is it TI7? T7i? The T7i is very much almost exactly like the SL2. So you'll want to watch a versus video of both of those before you buy one of those, and see which one would be better for you and your situation. Yeah. Yeah, digital artifacts, right. The glitchy pixels are called digital artifacts. Thank you, Vulgat Det. Vulgat Det. Wilgot Det. Is that how you say your name? I'm so sorry. I'm a dumb American. I'm bad at even knowing what nationalities people are coming from when I see their names, let alone the ability to pronounce them well. But yeah, I just saw Will Got Dit's videos, a few of them, especially ones involving the circuit, because he's done some cool stuff on the circuit as well. And yeah, and that's how he found me, I think, as the January series that I did. All my Januaries were with the circuit. And yeah, good, definitely a good channel there. Everybody go check him out. And so yeah. I don't know if you guys know about YouTube much yet. But if there's somebody in the chat, you can check them out by going into the, seeing the three little lines that go and hover it over them, go the three little lines, and then go to channel. And so you don't have to search for people on the YouTube, because a lot of people have the same names and stuff, and it's hard. It's like, is it that one or is it that one? And I think I'm the most popular Mr. Basic now, actually. Or I think I might be the first person who comes up when you type it the way my channel is. Yeah. Anyway, that's a tangent. Yeah. So, slip matte in lime. Slip matte in lime. What do you mean, Darren? Slip matte in lime? Welcome, Adios Ergon. Ergion. Adios Ergion Mogcraft 32. Awesome. Good to see you here. Had to use the 2K with GoPro 7 because of that issue with video editing too. Right, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like there's really not much of a need for anything past 1080p yet, except for the fact that Bo Beats corrected me on that. I asked him, and he's all like, well, actually, the reason why I do 4K is so that I can zoom in to something. So in editing, you can have something a part of your video zoomed in, right? And zoom into it, and it's not grainy and it's not pixelated because it's at 1080p when you've zoomed into something. And you do that quite often if you get into video editing your videos a little bit more. And that totally makes sense. So even though people don't need to see 4K yet, there's even more reasons to actually have 4K capabilities. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not going to use it yet with my Yi 4K. I looked at the GoPros and I found out that this was a little bit better in some ways, and so definitely check out the 4K Plus. That was 2 years ago though, so yeah. Not actually probably pertinent at all anymore, any kind of information I could say about that. But it's still gonna be good for me, and I'm still not gonna be using it yet. I mean, I'll use it now, actually. I'll use it for just a video, and I'm gonna start splicing audio together. Okay, and that's a big deal is, since I just now got DaVinci Resolve and started using it and started learning on YouTube videos how to do stuff, I realize it's got an auto sync the audio with the video function. Audio sync the audio with the video. You just like click it and it does it, right? So what was I afraid of, right? The fact is I couldn't. I tried to do it manually in Shotcut and I was getting it wrong because my formats were different. And even if I tried to make the format the same, it still wasn't quite working. And I was like, ah. So I gave up and I got the Zoom Q8, right? I gave up and got this, but the fact is, yeah, I can use this or my Canon if I want, mega zoom on stuff. And it's actually a more decent picture than my Zoom Q8, even though it's an old point-and-shoot camera. The only problem with capturing video on it is it automatically goes off after about 20 minutes. And it's not even I turned off the whatever setting of doing that, and it still will only take us so long of a video, and then it'll stop. It's like, okay, great. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve, man. You want to know, like, DaVinci Resolve is unique. It's amazing in a unique way, and that's that in comparison to Premiere Pro or Adobe products, in that it's like, okay, say you've got your Adobe suite of Adobe products, right? They're all different programs, Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects, and whatever it is, so yeah. Anyway, all their suite to do the different things within the video, like for your videos, are actually different programs. So they're going to take up a lot more of your system to actually work, and you have to take your files and move them over and do it over there and all that stuff. And in DaVinci Resolve, it has your different tabs on the bottom for your different things, right? And so it's like you do everything within DaVinci Resolve. You do your After Effects, you do your audio mixing. It's got a full DAW called Fairlight in there, and it's a full digital audio workstation that does amazing things that other digital audio workstations don't do or don't do as well. And like, say, just automatically, I mean, their compressors work really well for it to have one track send and one track listen, so that you can duck your background music behind your voice in a vlog automatically and not have to do anything about it or have somebody else next to you doing it. And like, they're really good in Fairlight, the DAW, that's within DaVinci Resolve. When you're editing videos, it's like right there. Anyway, the other thing about Fairlight is it's got 3D. It's good for 3D spatial placement. It 3D spatially places on XY pads, sound and tracks, and where in the either 5.1 surround or whatever surround or within the stereo field that you like. And so you can easily do quad audio with just using Fairlight as a DAW. And that's with DaVinci Resolve in it when you're using the program already, not using more CPU or anything like that. It's all together. And the different sections of DaVinci Resolve work so that your workflow, you start out with that one first page, then you go to the editing page, then you go to the color correction page, then you go to the audio page, and then another page, and then you're done, right? And you got your workflow already good. And a lot of people in a lot of videos have talked about that I've watched in the last couple of weeks. Yes, I did look up Pacific 808 State 202 remix, and yeah, I've got it playlisted. I've got the 808 State stuff playlisted. already, and I've listened to it a couple times. I like that stuff. I like house. Yeah, the free version works perfectly of Resolve, and there's no watermarks or anything like that. Nothing annoying. And yeah, and I'll go with that for a while. Imperfekt says I tried Vegas but couldn't get it to run stable enough to use for projects. Yeah, yeah. It could be your computer or it could be Vegas, but yeah, that's what I haven't looked into Sony Vegas at all. But mostly I've actually tried things that start out free and then that sort of thing, and there's better. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I've watched your vid. Well, do you put out something on like Sunday every week? Because I did watch your Castlevania soundtrack. So, was that what you're talking about, Darren T House? Yes, Bo Beats makes a good point. Yeah, Bo Beats is the best. In that he's a guy who's got a YouTube channel and talks on YouTube, but he's got a good head on his shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, you can trust what he says because of how thoughtful he is about everything and how honest he is about those things he's thoughtful about. Well organized, knows what not to say, knows when not to get into a conversation about something, especially when it's like to some hot political topic, Good head on his shoulders. So he's a good role model, actually, I think, even though, you know, that's a lot of pressure, but I just think, I think he's a good guy. Along those same lines, there's a lot of people. I latch on to people that I trust, people that I can trust, and that that's few and far between where you really know you can trust somebody on YouTube. Yep. Okay, I'm behind. I'm behind on your videos, Darren. Sorry about that. I've been really busy, as you can tell. My studio hasn't been switched around yet, and I haven't done a lot of things that I said I would do last week, but that's in the next coming months. I will. I just subbed to everyone in the channel chat. Woo! It's cool to see so many people making synth music. Yeah, it is, man. I just got to the point where, especially after January, where I don't have enough time to listen to everybody's jams now that are coming up on my notifications all the time. And now I'm into the Shrimp Crew with Hayes Anderson over there. Shout out to the Shrimp Crew, everybody at the Shrimp Crew. You guys are awesome. Dan and Coherence, DQuill Live. I've been watching a lot of your streams because but the thing is, they're Twitch people. The Shrimp Crew. There's so many people streaming good musical jams on Twitch right now, right? And so many of them are on the Shrimp Crew, who I talk. I look at and sometimes join in Dan's Gearsplaining forum, and it's just so much good stuff. But I don't have time to go over to the Twitch platform and then start watching things on Twitch. That isn't part of my routine or whatever. So the fact that DQuill also puts his stuff on YouTube at the same time is excellent, and does that live as well. Does both live. So I'm always the one person that watches him on YouTube because he hasn't really found any way to market himself on, and it just hasn't happened on YouTube yet. But like the Twitch is where it's at for all those guys, and which I think is really cool. And I might go that route of branching out to Twitch at some point, but I'd have to have a little bit more time, I think, maybe. Yeah, and so and Inky and I have talked a lot about the larger community. You can find a lot of people on Sonic State. Sonic Talk is a live show they do every Monday morning. Well, it's more in Monday morning. I mean Wednesday morning. It's Wednesday mornings for me. For me here in Seattle, Washington. I'm not in Seattle. I say I'm from Dublin, but because everybody knows Dublin, but they don't know. That's the everybody knows Seattle, but they don't know Olympia, and they definitely don't know Elma, and I'm in Elma. But anyway, so from here, like, yeah, I watch Sonic Talk, and that's the thing is like there's tons of people on the live chat there, and you go in and look at their channels, and a lot of them have some content going on too. People who play synths and stuff. Yeah, and January, watching people's January vids, as you already know, Wheel Got Debt. That's a good way to connect with people because we're all kind of in the same boat. We're all kind of like we like to watch jams and we like synthesizers and we like to see what other people are doing that's kind of like what we're doing, and we like to see other people's studios and how unique they are. Yeah. So is Twitch any good? See, years ago when I had Twitch on my TV on Amazon Prime, I had Amazon Prime on my TV, and then Twitch, I streamed through that, and it was like, well, it's like, yeah, watch people play video games. Most of it is real, just fluff, just time waster. It's time wasting as much as playing video games is, but like I started out, I saw, you know, Markiplier. I like Markiplier. No, but he's on YouTube. But anyway, so as far as Twitch goes, it's like I was kind of looking for streamers that were kind of like cute girl streamers, but like cool nerdy girl streamers that you watch because you can see them at the same time. But for a few minutes, and go see another one for a few minutes, and it's like, well, that's not interesting either. That's not fulfilling in any way. Just like watching some semi-cute girl, maybe like playing video games is not my way of having fun. But I'd rather watch a yoga stretching video or exercise video if I want to be that way. Confessions. Okay. Oh, you left and you're back now, Marshall. What did you miss? I don't know. We're talking fluff, talking cameras, not really talking synths. We were talking cameras for a while, and then talking DaVinci Resolve 15, and I was talking about how Fairlight is amazing. The Fairlight DAW that comes in DaVinci Resolve 15 is really good. Oh, Deadmau5 got banned from Twitch recently. What? I saw that there's a 30-minute video. I'm going to go watch it that just popped up today of him mastering a track. And so maybe that's some of the master class, but maybe not. It's on the side. But so I'm not going to watch his master class. So I'll watch that 30-minute thing. That's cool. I watched this one modular video that Deadmau5 had on YouTube, and it was like, oh, okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's not even a patch that's okay to hear with your ears, but he's like trying to explain it like it's just this mysterious thing that we don't know what's going on and blah blah blah. And then he pockmarks that video with the only other thing in the video that he does is talk about how cool Schwayman is. It's called Schwayman, but it's CJ blah blah blah. Quedgeman is what it looked like it would sound like to me, but those are the modules that are at least like 3 times more expensive than any other modules for no reason except they're the elite people. It's like, no, synthesizers are synthesizers. An oscillator sounds good if it's a good oscillator. Like, you can't get no reason to go more expensive than everybody else except for to just have rich people go like, hey, I have all these Schwayman modules. So no respect for Deadmau5 when it comes to the modular thing. I realized he's an imposter. He didn't really actually not only did he, if he did know what he was doing, he was literally like trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and make modular sound seem better than it was or something. But no, it is better than what you're saying, what you're trying to put forward. You have to actually put some effort into it, into really actually doing something. I'm sorry. It's not even very. It's not even really the thing to be picky about how people play modular, how that sounds. Obviously, that's like you shouldn't be doing that. But seriously, if you watch that video, you'd know what I was talking about. He's just trying to be a poser in so many ways. It's like, stop it. Just be cool and do things with your modular and maybe try to get somewhere with it, you know? It's like, okay, I just didn't understand that. Maybe Deadmous is better than I think he is, but I think he's mostly better at using a DAW and putting stuff together and mastering things than anything else. I like his music. Yeah, you can't pretend to know modular. You can either like be doing something and be like honest about like that you don't know what's going on, but you know, which is also cool because you can come, you know, it can come up with things for you. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of synthesizers are so simple. Modules themselves are, you know, are so simple in mostly in general. Subtractive synthesis is so simple that like, yeah, why shouldn't you know exactly what you're doing? You totally can. And it's this like first video you ever see beginner's idea that you try to tell a beginner that, oh, this is some mysterious thing that'll go off and do everything. And no, you really should get to know what you're doing. And that's a better thing. Yeah. Because it doesn't take much. Oh, okay. Audios Ergion Modecraft 32 says about Deadmous. He also does a video on using a mask as part of learning how to become a successful artist. So yeah, that's what I got out of the video, that he was putting on a mask. And I was like, stop it. I was like, you don't have to act like you're cooler, like try to you know, impress everybody because you're already Deadmous. Like you're already the one that got the publicity. You don't have to impress anybody. Be yourself, and you're doing like way better than all the rest of us who are also being ourselves because you already have the name, you know? Yeah, that's my advice for Deadmous. Okay, Marshall Arnold says, I watched his masterclass, not really much in the way of production tips. The Armin van Buren one was way better, but that dude has helpers. Yeah, somebody was talking about how like, oh man, I want a synth helper, man. I want a mastering helper. But, yeah, the Armin van Buren one was supposed to be really good. I haven't watched any of the master classes, but actually, no, I just finished. You know, the Carlos Santana. I don't know if you guys been getting the Carlos Santana masterclass commercials yet? But I just finished the Carlos Santana masterclass, as I'll demonstrate. Yeah, it's easy. Thank you, Carlos, for teaching me how to play the guitar. You're awesome. Le ghetto me va, come se me va, lo de ayer, le eve somo, como va, que dice, something. O yo como va, que dice, that's what it is. Yeah, using a mask is really clever. Gets you out of all kinds of social BS. Yeah, like Mr. Basic. I don't really wear. I mean, I think about it. Think about wearing a mask. I think about improving my content, and improving my content, does that mean like I should, beef up my personality, be more energetic, stuff like that. And there's always and then script yourself so that you're always having a sort of narrative, and you tell a certain story, like you tell your origin story, that there's so much more to you, but the origin story is what hooks people in. And yeah, there's always a there's always an idea of doing stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know about it. Yeah. Yeah. Inky at Damn Cat Studios says, I don't think he'd be as famous if he hadn't. He cleverly got around to the looking perfect trap. Yeah. I can see that, how Tiesto, Cascade, you know, even Steve Aoki is like so iconic and cool looking and looks like a great guy and stuff, like so like really charismatic. I think that's the thing about DJs, is like there's all these DJs in the world, but what they look like is totally important to people in the end. At least is important to the industry in who to support on, and at the top, which is like, when I went to Vegas, that's the thing, is like all those guys were there. Steve Aoki was there, Tiesto was there, um, Armin van Buren wasn't there at the time, but yeah, and it's like, to get there, you got to be, you know, you just got to be the character, and then you're also a really good DJ. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sounds like he's posing. And I guess Deadmau5's music in general sounds a little bit like, he very simply uses very distinct sounds and rhythms and techniques, that but it's clear. And see, I kind of like that. It's not muddy stuff, his music. But yeah, and I definitely prefer anything that doesn't have like vocals along with it, and like with a vocal collaboration into that sort of song, because I'm into instrumental music. Sorry. Yeah, too over exaggerated. About 4 years ago, when I started listening to Pandora radio at work, I was a chef at the time, um, and but like I was listening to things that were like, uh, you know, romantic, funky, even pop music that went there, and things that were just kind of like still more acoustic. And when it came to electronic music, it was more like the stuff that was really made with electronic stuff, but like not necessarily electronic music. Okay, yeah. So Ellie Goulding, I really liked Ellie Goulding, but then and I liked anyone who was doing new disco or like electronic. What's basically disco for new electronic music now? There's other words for it, but new disco is one that describes it. And whenever a Deadmau5 song would come up, I'd be like, ooh, I hate it. Ugh, because it was more like and stuff like that. And it was like, no, that's not what I'm into. But now it kind of is, but not too much of that at a time. But then there's ones that come up on the progressive house station now that I've been on for a year on Pandora Radio, listening at work, and those songs that come up on the progressive house radio that are Deadmau5's songs are songs that I like. They have enough breaks for long enough, break from rhythm, and some, it's nice ramp ups and breaks and things like that, and lots of nice changes. But kind of like a lot of other people that I watch that are just hardware jammers everywhere. No better necessarily. That's the thing about celebrities. That's the thing about YouTube, is I found out that there's just There's more good, really just amazingly good hardware players out there that can even just play it all live. That can play their synths live on camera. That are just as good as any celebrity, and there's just hundreds upon hundreds of them. You can't watch enough of that stuff because you don't have enough time of the day. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Adios, Ergon. Yeah. I really feel strongly about how everyone should get into live streaming more. I just went on this. Well, I was on the live, you know, chill beats station that I was listening to last night, and I went down the live chat. There seemed to be like mostly younger people, and I went and clicked on all of them that were there consistently, and nobody had content. Nobody it was all zero content, zero content, zero content. And it was kind of sad, and I didn't want to go insult them, but I was like, I was to say it in a way like, wow, you know, you guys should all be making content. It's fun and rewarding, you know. It really is. It's changed me a lot. It's just helped me a lot get out of my skin, and to try to it's helped me a lot to make me do things that I want to be doing instead of just not doing anything, right? Being online is helping me with that because it's giving me an imperative. I don't know if you guys understand that or not. You probably do. It gives me an imperative to do what I need to do. The fact that people are watching me, and it's not my parents, and it's not the people who I don't want to judge me. It's just everyone. Yeah. A year ago, did I think? Well, 2 years ago, I didn't think I would be doing this. 2 years ago, I was focused on other things and I was trying to satisfy myself, and I still couldn't do it. I couldn't get satisfied with anything that I was doing. And so I switched gears, and I was like, I'm gonna, at least just start documenting my life for myself in these videos on YouTube. And I kept it private, and then I realized, okay, yeah, there's some things I like on this YouTube, and I'm going to start doing that. And a lot of that was like, 10-hour long sound videos of like raining, 10-hour long raining while you're in your car at night, sort of thing. And they have the video to go along with it. And like in a tent, camping in a tent in a forest in the rain, on the tent, and the wind and animals, and that actually kind of got me. And nature, and just nature videos, the idea of like capturing all that and putting it online kind of got me into YouTube for might be surprising to y'all, but it had nothing to do with synthesizers. And then because of YouTube, I found out about synthesizers. I found out that they were actually sound making devices and not just preset things that only somebody else in a huge Japanese company can make. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, good DJs only care about dancing and not about being a model, says DJ. Lisa, you're funny. That's great. Yeah, everyone has their own box to sit on now. You're right, Darren. It's great. No matter how obscure your type of music that you like is, if it's something that you're passionate for, then yes, other people will be, because we're all kind of similar that way. Imperfekt says, going hardware changed everything for me. Getting on YouTube was the natural next step. Yep. People People don't go to Facebook and Twitter looking for music anymore. MySpace is long dead. Haha. Yes, I came from using Facebook, and that's another unfulfilling thing that I did was being on Facebook, and then I constantly found cool things and funny things and memes and stuff through Facebook that I'd want to post for everyone else, and that's what I spent my time doing, and it was a complete waste. I don't want to go back to that because I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't doing anything with myself by doing that. I wasn't learning anything. And on YouTube, I can learn, and I love learning so much. It's my favorite thing. And I love hardware synths too. Yep. Going hardware, you meet people like Inky, like Darren, like Marshall, like Mr. Basic, like Gaz Williams, like Bo Beats, like Oscillator Sync, like uh, Third Story Chemist, like Pure Ambient Drone, like Synth Mania, Paolo. You know, everybody. Like I Will Create. We're all awesome, and there's too many of us to actually keep track of. So we all can have lots of friends on here, pump each other up, help each other out. Facebook install started changing likes and views in 2011. It dried up after that. YouTube is best. Facebook is a waste of time. Yeah. And it can be good for you, and you can make other Facebook pages that can do well for you if you're trying to get with people and build an audience, especially if you do it like things locally or trying to find things in your area and stuff. So it has its place, but not for me. It's 100% not necessary for me, except for a phone book for my extended family if I ever want to look them up. Yeah. I'm going to stick to YouTube. I'm always going to be doing YouTube. I'm starting a website this next month, and it's going to be my website. And I'm not going to tell you what the name is, but because I haven't actually registered the domain yet. So once I register the domain, I'm going to go ahead and register a trademark and register my trademark myself and all that. And then I'm really just going to use it as mostly still a base for YouTube and just my own personal journaling. I'll have 2 blogs, one about synths and one about other stuff off topic, and YouTube videos, and I'll stay on YouTube. And there's always the question of, do you want to get on Instagram or not? And I don't need to do that. But should I also stream on Twitch? Because we can get together with all the Twitch people, right? And that might be cool too. But I don't just want to copy post onto another platform. I discussed that. We discussed that a little bit in Bo Beats' Discord with some guys, and yeah, Rick Olpen had some really good advice that way. It's like he kind of reminded me of how annoying it is when all you get is just some impersonal, like, oh, this was from some other platform, and they don't really care on this platform to talk to anybody or do anything. And so like automatic copy pasting into other platforms might not actually be the best idea, if you're just really trying to be authentic and whatnot, which I am. Hey, Mike, Hydropneumatic. Hydropneumatic. Mike Hydropneumatic. Hi, how's it going? I'm not sure that I've seen you before. Welcome to the stream. Awesome. Yeah, we're just speaking of how many people there are out there that you might not even know. Hey, speak of the devil. Bo Beats, nice to see you here. I don't know if you've ever made it onto one of my streams or not, man. Yeah, I think live streaming is great. Definitely keep that going, Bo. That's awesome. I think it's the best. Uh, I might not be too well at it all the time, but I'm getting better. I at least I have good consistent audio now and stuff like that. Someone liked my something. Okay, yeah. I was just commenting on somebody's video about the clouds freeze. Somebody else made a video showcasing the clouds freeze functionality, and I love that too. It's awesome. And now see, I'm getting this just notifications over and over and over again because I have 500. I'm subscribed to over 500 people, and yeah, still haven't pared it down yet. But that's the thing, is I'm going to pare it down to just people who are um, have music, playing hardware, like synthesizers, playing synths, might have videos coming up, be likely to keep on making videos, and so we can we can be a community that way. It'll be awesome. So once again, I'll re-up this. Your topics, whatever you want to talk about. All right. That was different. Oh, yeah, I got the timbre knob there. A little bit of FM on that. That was the System 1, and then that was the Mini Brute, and then this is the Plaits. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Yeah, just stick with us. It's a small, beautiful world. It is. YouTube is a small, beautiful world. I'm sticking with it. One thing that's non-synth related. Hope Cuckoo will show up soon. Yeah, he has shown up once. Anyway, so the deal is something's been happening on YouTube, and people have been calling it the newest adpocalypse, or a demonetization, they refer to it as. If you want to learn more about this, I'm going to start by saying go see the latest WAN show from Linus Tech Tips, or other one I would recommend is Roberto Blake has a video with a lot of his ideas on the subject and how it's going to affect other YouTubers and stuff like that. But basically, here's the deal: what's been going on on YouTube. This guy, who's actually quite a pervert himself, turns out, he tried to privatize all of his videos up until now before deciding to be a YouTube hero. But so not really much respect for this guy who actually like pointed it out, but he's kind of like, but he pointed out something that's really important, and I'm glad that it's some way or another it got noticed by YouTube, and YouTube is going to be doing something about it. And this is about child exploitation in YouTube, and also demonetization and channels taken down of people who are doing innocent content. and actually innocent content that, you know, their kids might be, you know, having clothing malfunctions, or, you know, kids who are like doing the splits or something in gymnastics, or, you know, just things like that. And then perverts decide to, you know, like time code and say these are the good parts, and then playlist them and things like that, and say lewd comments and things like that. And then so YouTube goes and takes down the channel or demonetizes the channel, so that they cannot monetize their videos anymore or something like that, and stuff like that. So there's a big debate around this stuff. But all I want to say about it is that I have a 3-year-old. I've put her on video, and anyone who also has children who might actually be anywhere near YouTube in any way, this is a really important thing to be thinking about, and to be careful of, is that you don't put your kid in some kind of situation where some, you know, where like some perverts are gonna like go and turn it into something else. And yeah, you got to be careful. As far as ramifications for YouTube on this whole event that went on, YouTube took down like 400 plus sites. I know that doesn't seem like actually that much, and so I think they're just kind of like pushing back at the idea of the fact that the advertisers have all been pulling out of YouTube in general. What Roberto Blake says is there's an unintended maybe consequence of this for all of us creators, is that there's not going to be as big of a pool of ad revenue coming down to anybody who monetizes their videos anymore. It's going to go down for everybody. So anyone who's relying on AdSense is going to get less, whether you're a part of this or not, because when advertisers pull out, they all pull out from everybody a lot. And so, but the thing is, it's also going to normalize again when, just like the other adpocalypses, when the story cycle goes down, companies come back with their ads all the time, every time. Eventually, it's all about news cycles. But this is something to think about: is be careful putting your kid on YouTube. And I definitely am not going to side with people who are trying to make money from their cute kids on YouTube, because that's exploiting your child. And then you get into the whole idea of legal ramifications of making money off of your child. And how much do they get them? Do they see any money? They grow up and they're like, oh, I was famous on YouTube. I don't see any money from that. Like, my parents got rich, and what do I get out of it? So think about the future that way. I'm doing all this because of my daughter. I mean, I'm doing this to prepare her. I'm preparing myself and knowing about YouTube and about online and how to do all this stuff and getting good at it, and about music and all that stuff, so she can have the opportunities and to do what, you know, to take this as far as it can go positively, right? But we got to be careful about the awful things that have been going on YouTube for a long time, and stuff like that. So that YouTube is now forced by this issue to actually do something about. How much they're going to do about it, besides what they've already done, we'll see. But it might be a step in the right direction of just like public knowledge that it doesn't mean that advertisers have to pull out of everybody on YouTube or say I'm anti-YouTube because of it. It's something that YouTube needs to fix, right? And they're on it. That's my thoughts on the subject. Okay, so other topics maybe, or if people have something to say, I'm going to look in the chat here. Mother 32, Sub 37, monologue. Cool. What do I think of the Moog products coming out lately? Okay, Imperfekt says, I feel like the siren is, or the siren is a cash grab. but the grandmother is amazing. Yes, I do feel the grandmother is just 100% amazing. If everyone in the world could have one, they should. It would be awesome if everyone in the world had a grandmother. And the siren also is amazing because the Minotaur is one of the best synthesizers and always will be on Earth. And the siren is just another version of it. So, okay, it's good. Because it goes up past middle C. And that might not be much, but it's something that enough people will want that they'll all sell. Yeah. I already was talking about I'm not as into the Mother 32 as I am into the Minotaur. Because I don't need the Mother 32 type of sequencer on there. I don't like it as much as the synthesizer part and the patch bay part. But I do want the subharmonicon to come out, and it probably won't. I'm pissed. I'm not angry about the siren, that they decided to make the siren, but if they decided to make it instead of ever coming out with the subharmonicon, then yeah, I'm mad about that. Because the subharmonicon was even more important than the DFAM to come out. It was. Because it's even rarer a thing to have in a synthesizer. Imperfekt says anything on YouTube is subject to exploitation, period. It's the nature of the beast. Yeah, it always did seem that way, and especially since it's YouTube, but now it's commercial tube is what it is. That's what YouTube is turning into. It's have your better TV show and commercials tube. It's your other TV. So that's why, people like Bo and Noir at Blanc V and other people have done the right thing for their channels and stepped it up in terms of, consistent audio quality, consistent video quality, and good editing, good flow. Keep the right things in, take the right things out, and think about all the things that go into making a TV show good, and do that right. And wow, Bo's doing it all by himself still. He still doesn't have a team or anything. So props to that, Bo, man. I mean, Linus Tech Tips has has a huge team, and a lot of other people like Sunny Lezardino, who talks about how to make it on YouTube and be your own boss and stuff like that. She has a team of 14 people, but her videos aren't really better than they were when she was just doing it. So it's kind of like, well, now that I have the money, I can not do all these aspects of what I do, and so I have more time for myself, and that's cool. That's cool, I guess. Okay. Inky says, I don't agree with plastering your kids on the media. It's not fair when they don't have a choice. And no, we don't want to know what you're eating. Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm all about, I want to make sure I don't like put my daughter on in any way that's just going to like, somebody's just going to go like, oh, I'm just watching it because I can see his daughter or something like that. I'm going to make sure that nobody has those expectations of my channel in general, and then just go see the good parts, which I'm not going to put the good parts. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful what they do, and then edit the video if they do something. Don't let them upload their own videos. Don't let your kids upload their own videos. You gotta go through them. You gotta watch them, just like you should watch movies before you let them watch them. It's the same thing, only a lot more bigger consequences. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Marshall says, I saw Jexus posted some new content after his biopic by Noir. Yeah. I saw that too, and it's awesome. His new video is so awesome. It's awesome. And he starts out, showing, kind of like referring to the bunny that he likes to pet, that petting bunnies is even better than synthesizers. It's even less of a waste of time because it's important to pet bunnies. I really get that 100%. I'm not being sarcastic. Yeah, because you gotta. It's really helps you understand. You gotta know what life is for, like why you're living, why you're here, and petting bunnies gives you that perspective. Definitely. At least as a dad, I feel that way. Hey, Simon the Magpie. Nice to see you. All kids should live Amish lifestyle. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Amish are awesome. I love their um, electric heaters for your home. Wait, they're supposed to be anti-electricity. Amish potato salad. Oh. Imperfekt says, "I'm so glad I was raised before the internet." Yeah, I was raised before the internet too, and I was online before the internet in bulletin boards, and this is pertinent because kids online. I was homeschooled, so I had a lot of during 7th grade, so I had a lot of time at home, and my parents weren't home either; they were both working, and so it was me with the textbooks, doing it myself. And one one thing that came out of that is I got through school really quick, and I learned a lot. In a day, I would be done with it in an hour with all my work. And I came back to school after that, being like 2 grades ahead of everybody else and learning more grammar than anybody actually learns in the public school system. It was awesome. But one thing about that is I ended up spending all the rest of my time online on bulletin boards before the internet, on this service called Prodigy. And there was Promenade as well. Prodigy and Promenade. You guys remember that? And I was on Prodigy. America Online had started out a little bit later after that, and started charging you differently. They were like charging by the hour instead of charging monthly. And then after a while, Prodigy started charging monthly. But anyway, I was on there. I was on mostly the Paula Abdul boards because I was into Paula Abdul at the time. And I, as an 11-year-old, was pretending that I was 21 and I was a stand-up comic and I was 21 and I went through college and all that, and blah blah blah. I was talking about all sorts of lies and stuff like that to a girl who was in Florida, and she wanted me to send a pic, and I said I always said I would, but I didn't. And then I told her to do the same thing, and she wouldn't either. So it's like she was probably same age as me and also acting like she was 19. Oh well. So yeah, you can't just trust kids by themselves online either, definitely. And there's a lot of kids out there that are just being trusted to post online, or their parents don't even know. Okay, Darren, nice to see you. Have a wonderful day. I will check back on your channel again to see the newest stuff. When they ask you to send a pic, you send a pic, bro. Pics or it didn't happen. You're right. Everyone here is awesome. Yeah, I was when I was 11. Yeah, totally. I was catfishing. Not girls, a girl that I liked. Her name was Cassie. But that's probably not who she was. I don't know. But it was just talking back and forth. It's like pen pals and bulletin boards. You have to wait till the next day to get a response. Yeah, so you write a thing. The next day, someone will get it and maybe have responded to it. You can't even. It's not like it wasn't instant. It was posts that showed up much later than you posted them. All right. But anyway, yeah, I know it's a political thing, but I had to bring that up because even though it won't be in the news cycle anymore, but it's one of those things. Like, I like Daryl Eves. He talks a lot about how YouTube history of YouTube and how YouTube has worked and how it's changed all up in years. And he's told me about a lot of stuff that I didn't know about because I started on YouTube just the last couple of years, and then I knew YouTube from like 2004 or 2007 or something like that. And I watched Andrew Huang's Pink Fluffy Unicorns Dancing on Rainbows video. And at that point, it was brand new. And he wasn't into synthesizers or anything like that, or that we knew of. And was kind of interesting. But yeah, it's interesting to see how YouTube went from everyone just from a dating site. YouTube started out as a dating site, right? And then it went to people who started just recording their lives, right? And then it became the YouTube it was. And then advertisers started coming in. It became different. Then advertisers started advertising in video. And then it really changed, right? And then people, when advertisers came in, then came the videos that were the thumbnails that were totally like the best thumbnails won out, and they never had anything to do with the videos. Then YouTube got smart to that and went like, okay, well, people are stopping watching YouTube and are watching less because they're all getting scammed and they don't like it. So now we come to where we are now. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, do it old school AIM style. Yeah. I was kind of afraid of AIM and I didn't do that. I mean, I did, and then I was afraid of it, and I didn't really connect with too many people before I gave up on it. Yeah, I think if you're talking to me, I'm at YouTube, yeah. Oh, yeah, you weren't talking to me. Anyway, well, what are we doing? Oh, 2 hours and 42 minutes. Wow. Okay. So I think we'll go ahead and see if we can end the stream. Yeah, me too. I secretly wanted to be in stand-up, and that's why I said I was back then. Well, people kept saying, "You're interesting, you're interesting." All right, I'll play you guys out, and then we'll be toast.